All right. Welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey. Listen, this is going to be my 17th take for the day. I have not been able to get this one in the can, and I don't know why. But nonetheless, as we get into this, it is about high noon coming to you from the great state of Texas and the August 7th, 2022. And so without further ado, let's get on into this Monkey Minute. Now, I will tell you interesting things. One, keep note of the date. 9th of Av is a very big date for the Jews and for Israel, and that is because their temples were both destroyed on that date. The 9th of Av, 70 AD, second temple went down, and then the 9th of Av, before that, the first temple went down. And so, very important date for them. And so, Friday, everything kind of went hot. As you notice, we're going to look here at the Jerusalem Post talking about this new Gaza strike, but it says Israel is now claiming, the IDF is saying that they killed all the Islamic Jihad leaders. I don't know how accurate a statement that is because, as you know, when it comes to those guys, they basically are layered. So you may take out the head of the snake, but you got the rest of the snake you still got to deal with, and another person will just step right into the fold. So, but they're saying that that there was a camp, a refugee camp that got peppered, and they're blaming the IDF, but IDF is saying now it was actually Hamas and their leaders. But they're also talking about more than 350 rockets launched toward Israel in the first full day of fighting. It has been nonstop. And so even with this one coming out today, this article talking about the fact that they have knocked the leaders out, I will tell you my Red Alert app on my phone is still going off nonstop. About every couple of minutes, it gets peppered with a new rocket launch coming inbound. And it's from Gaza into Israel. So, and now the IDF is actually calling this Operation Breaking Dawn as they defend themselves. You can see kind of the Iron Dome going off here. It's really pretty wild to watch that. But and then here you can see we'll do a little shot. Now I turned the volume down on this because it actually is really loud. Not only the air sirens, but the launches and the explosions. It's kind of now watch. This is going to be. Watch it change directions. That is going to be your Iron Dome at work, and then it's going to make contact with two rockets. See another one come peppering in. Pow. Yeah, pretty wild. Very accurate. 95.9% accuracy rate out of the Iron Dome. Pretty impressive. 100% would be really much better, but you take it like you can get it. You're just getting barrage like that. It's amazing they can stop 95% of it. So. Okay, now over to Business Insider. As they say, this is actually an article that just came out. We're in a global food crisis that will wreak havoc on local economies and trigger civil unrest. We already know that. This is Sri Lanka. You may remember we were talking about the collapse of Sri Lanka and their protests. But the interesting thing is if you look at that market, it is very leaned out. That place is usually packed. And these folks it's basically straight farm to market. They come down into this little, almost like a flea market or a world bazaar, and people buy food and everything else. But with the economy collapsed, the price of that stuff is going through the roof. And so it's triggering unrest in the general areas. But look, you can get down here and look at the map. And this is where food scarcity and civil unrest kind of go hand in hand. Notice there's nothing going on here in the U.S. yet. That is coming. Guarantee it. They've been peppering away at our food supply, whether it's fertilizer, droughts, plants being caught on fire, but they have been taking shots at us on a pretty regular basis. And so the U.S., I believe, will probably be the last one we see the unrest come. But once it gets to the U.S., the rest of the world will have already virtually collapsed. If it's anything in the third world countries, Central America, north end of South America, that's all yet to be seen, but we already know Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, or those areas are going to go hot. We already know that. We've been watching them, and as they already talk about the economies collapsing, things like that, interest rates or inflation going through the roof. So we'll continue to watch what happens. But this is a good little write-up, basically telling folks, hey, you need to prepare. You don't want to be jumping out in the mix of all of this. That's the key, right? If you take the time to prepare when it does happen, you, because you've prepared, aren't going to have to go get right into the mix of all of this. You want to avoid those type of places. And so if you got to get in the middle of all of that, crowd mentality or that mob mentality, you are very high risk from a security perspective, personal security. So you want to avoid these kind of places. That's why we talk about prepping and having enough food to get you through a period where when the stupidity starts to hit the streets, you don't have to get into the middle of it. All right. So, all right. Now we talk a little bit more. Now this is actually Bangladesh, and I want to show you what's going on over there. This is some video that was taken. Notice what they're wearing. A little different. Now you would think Bangladesh for the most part would be, non-Muslim, but really if you look at the gear that they have on, it looks like the Muslims are the ones that are doing all of this. So burning the place down, it's pretty chaotic over there right now. So we'll just continue to watch it, but not good. Not good. All right. So let's back out of this and let's get over to this side. Now, this is an article altmarket.us put out because it says supply chain problems will persist because the system is being sabotaged. Yes, we know that, right? We see food processing plants burning to the ground, the flooding of the baby formula manufacturer, or the contamination of it's happening all around us. It's not to the scale that we are expecting here in the U.S. yet, but it is definitely not far off. All right, so that's why you got to be prepared. But this guy wrote this article up, and notice that he's using the word regionalization. It's something that Klaus Schwab has been talking about, and that is basically a reset. And matter of fact, this guy even quotes Schwab in this article, which is pretty interesting. But he goes right in to talk about the Great Reset, right, and their agenda: World Economic Forum, International Monetary Fund, and then the BIS, whatever that is, and other global organizations. Yeah, this is all we're being taken out piece by piece, and it doesn't take much. That's the scary thing, it doesn't take much at all. And so I think you're going to see more of this as we go forward. But anyway, sign of the times. All right, now let's jump on over here because we talk about social programs. We talk about what's going on around the world. Now, I just showed you Bangladesh was going hot because they said that their leadership was incapable of doing what they needed them to do. But, we're hearing it all over the place, right? You have Bangladesh, you've got Sri Lanka, we see it in Yemen, Argentina, Brazil, Venezuela. I mean, you can see all of it kind of bubbling to the top. But here's one for you. Brits are told that their energy bills will surge more than 60% this winter. It's not just them. It's happening in Germany too, where they're talking about basically shutting things off because they're only getting about 20% of what they used to get. So yeah, this is going to be a bad winter. We're not even through the summer yet, and the food shortages haven't really started to hit the non-third world country places yet, right? Everything in the third world countries is just getting hammered, but we're not there yet. We're getting close. So anyway, just a heads up. This is the stuff that's coming. Like I said, your mainstream media is not going to talk about any of this. So it's good to kind of have a bead on what's happening around the world, because sooner or later it's going to slowly, that noose will close in. Once America falls, everything else is done. So, but I have a feeling America will probably be one of the last holdouts in terms of the shortages and everything else. So, all right, listen, that's going to be a Monkey Minute for today. Hope you have a blessed rest of your weekend. I'll see you tomorrow with my next sit rep. And don't forget, next Friday, there is no live show. I will be in California at a prophecy conference, and I'll put something out there. I'm actually going to do a Skyglass 101, kind of a lesson on how to use the app. And so that's it. You guys be safe out there. Keep that powder dry. God bless. Monkey out.